What's up, guys? Welcome back to the podclass. I'm not sure if this counts.
What?
I'm doing my podcast.
Oh, no way.
I'm out here in team life activities right now. I'm low-key on the football field. I don't really have much to talk about today. I don't have anything off the immediate mind. I've talked about, Hold on, let me think. Cars. I feel like I've talked about cars. They're like kind of funky. Cause
I would love that. That'd be amazing,
the government has purposely impeded the invention, the creation, the advancement, whatever you call it, of electric cars for about 1 billion years, Electric cars have been viable, and they just didn't want it to happen. They just kept making, but the oil companies, they make a lot of money. So, as long as we can keep taxing them, oil is the standard. And, that's not very cool, because, electricity is pretty neat. I've already talked about electricity. But there's some types of electricity specifically, because wind power, how do they keep spinning? I swear, it's never that windy. I feel like I drive past windmills, wind turbines, all the time, and they're just never spinning. I don't know how it's viable, because it seems like they don't do crap. They just kind of sit there and, I don't know, maybe spin every once in a while. Depends on it literally depends on the weather, which isn't exactly helpful. Solar panels, I guess that depends on the weather too, but there's a lot more sun than there is wind, because it's kind of always up there. I don't really know how it gets energy, from the wind turbine. It's that makes sense, because it's freaking spinning, and they get the energy from the spinning. Solar panel, this is the black thing. And it gets,
what do you need?
I don't know, hot, I guess. And that makes energy somehow. It seems like there's not usually that much wiring connected to it, which is confusing to me. I mean, it just kind of sits on top of someone's roof and collects energy. And then they also have sometimes they just have massive fields of solar panels, which, I mean, that seems a lot more space efficient, than wind turbines, because they have to be spaced out, because otherwise they bump into each other. So that's pretty neat. What else could I talk about? This was kind of an impromptu episode. I just realized I wasn't really doing anything. And, Teach doesn't care. It's not like I have a sub or anything. He's just here. We're just out on the field. He really doesn't give a crap. But, yeah, he's just there. The Olympics. I feel like I talk about things along these lines a lot. But, those are going on right now. And, I think there's some things that are really snuffed out of the Olympics. I don't know how they decide what to put in and what to keep out. I guess it's just based on what they feel like. Because there's stuff in there that's just extremely dumb. Luge skeleton. That's just a slide. I know there's like some technique to it, but you boil it down. Where's the water slide in the Summer Olympics, you know? Can I go to Waterworld and be an Olympic athlete? No. So how come sliding down ice gets that? And I mean, skeleton and luge, they're the same exact thing. It's just one of them is ridiculously dangerous, where you go down head first, and it doesn't really change the technique, the strategy of, you know, going fast. It just puts you in a lot more risk for some reason. And it was banned for the Olympics for like a long amount of time. And there's some things in there that should totally be in there that aren't. Like, we have Olympic basketball. There's no Olympic cricket. I learned this, I think today, maybe yesterday. The cricket has been in the Olympics one time, and they said, nope, that's not going to work. I'm not sure. I don't think baseball is in the Olympics. I don't really know what's in the Olympics. I'm not an Olympic athlete. But, you know, there's like 30 billion track and field things in the Olympics. Like, how many damn races do we need? How many times do we just make the distance a little bit longer, make it a little bit shorter? How about we put more than one person on the track? It's all the same thing. You're just running. It's just slightly different length, slightly different configurations of people. And then, like, there's some things that are different enough. Like, what's the one with the, like, pole vaulting and, like, high jumping? Like, you boil it down, they're both jumping over a tall thing. But, like, they're different enough where it's like, oh, yeah, those are different things. They require different strategies. Running, you just go. Seriously. And swimming, it's just literally the same thing in water. And they decided to put 400 more types of swimming. Do this specific stroke. What if you did it twice, though? And it really just stops. Wow, my shoulder hurts. It just kind of stops being useful. And it's like, at that point, why don't we just add in, like, 30 basketball events? Like, yeah, put in horse to the Olympics. Why not? I think that's about all I have to say on the Olympics. Let me think. Have I talked about the internet is fucking magical? Not in the sense of like the way it works, like it, because like at some point, you know, telephones were how you did the internet, which, I mean, telephone wires make a little bit more sense than, I don't know, magic. Because it's like, well, telephones used to be connected to wires and whatnot. And then eventually they figured out how to just let them free. I don't really know how. I have no idea how telephones, whatever. Like, they send out a signal and then someone else picks it up. That's magic to me. And it just it'll kind of build on each other. And you get the internet, which is like a billion different signals coming from everywhere. And anyone can just kind of make their own website, whatever. And, like, how does that all stack up? How do we keep that running? Because it feels like that would be enough to, like, implode an ancient Mayan's brain. You give someone from, like, 300 years ago, you give them like 10 seconds on a phone, they're just gonna explode. That's gonna be like, I don't even, there's nothing to compare to that, just itself. It's always hard to think of things to think. A person who thinks all the time has nothing to think about except for thoughts. You know, I'm out here on the football field. This whole thing is made of turf, which, you think about it, it's just kind of a gigantic thing of plastic, really, is what it is. And you know, that doesn't, like, seriously, why did we move from turf to grass? Because from what I can think of, besides like upkeep, everything else about it is just considerably worse. It's definitely 10 times worse for the environment because it's a gigantic fucking field of plastic. And it's also probably pretty bad. It's definitely, because it's like the length, it's bad on it doesn't feel like grass. It's meant to imitate grass. It doesn't really feel anything like it besides the fact that, there's a bunch of it, a bunch of little streaks, but like, it has a noticeably different feel. It feels like a carpet or something, you know? It's like a scratchy rug. It's a lot worse. Like grass, it feels like dead grass. It feels like dry because, well, obviously it is. You know, it can't really hold water like grass does. That's photosynthesis is kind of crazy because, once again, how are we pulling shit from the fucking sun? That's just a thing in the sky. How is it sending essentially Bluetooth food? How is it sending Bluetooth food that can only be accessed by plants? I feel like evolution should have gotten us to a point where mammals, whatever, can photosynthesize, because it seems far superior to actually eating, because you need to take time to get your food, hunt it down, and then take time to eat it. Whereas plant, it just sits there and it just lives. You know, it needs water too, but you know, everything needs water essentially. I don't really know why water kind of became the basic thing that we need to live. Oxygen, everything really is based on oxygen, because there's oxygen in water. Why can't we just drink liquid hydrogen and then breathe? It just turns it into oxygen. I mean, probably be easier. I'm not exactly sure how science works. I don't take chemistry. You know, a lot of this podcast is me just kind of being a fucking idiot, just not understanding things fundamentally. And, you know, I don't really care, because I probably have learned about 90% of these things in school. I don't give a shit. I don't believe them. It's magic. It's literal witchcraft sorcery. And the whole school thing is it's just government lies. You know, the more we do this, the more it becomes like a conspiracy podcast than a regular one. I don't really know. I don't really think there's such a thing as a regular podcast. I mean, what, you're sitting down to listen to two dudes just talk for an hour? Or maybe you're doing it while doing an activity. You never know. But I mean, seriously, it's not like it's, I mean, like television, there's like plot there. Besides, like, I don't know, I guess talk shows. Shit. Podcasts are just audio talk shows. It's actually just a lot better, actually. I mean, if you want to listen to a talk show, there's not much going on visually there. You can just listen to it. That's just a podcast. Sand, rocks. I've talked about rocks already, I think. I feel like I have. But not sand. It's just a bunch of tiny rocks. It's the difference between gravel and sand is I mean, maybe there's like a different mineral composite. But other than that, it's just the sand is smaller gravel. And you get to pebbles, that's just bigger gravel. And then rocks, it's just everything, anything geological is just some level of rock. The earth is just a really, really, really big rock. And then mountains are just really big rocks. And then boulders are big rocks. And then gravel is small, well, pebbles are small rocks, and then gravel is smaller rocks, and then sand. It's just smallest rock, it's just all the rocks. I just had a thought back there that I wanted to talk about, and now I think I've forgotten it. Hold on. I'm searching my brainwaves. Lips. My lips get chapped a lot because, Colorado is pretty dry, not very humid. I don't really know how. I'm not gonna get sidetracked yet. We'll come back to humidity later. That's gonna be a good one to talk about. But for now, I just want to talk about lips. Why? It's so fucking annoying. Why does? And they say. Okay, I haven't expressed thoughts. Chapped lips are annoying as hell. And it doesn't really make any sense. Because it's like, the lips chapped from it being dry. And then drinking water, whatever, licking your lips, it makes it drier? You're putting wet on it. Shouldn't that... And then the skin just kind of like peels. It's so annoying because I peel my lip skin a lot. I can see in the video right now that my lips are kind of insanely chapped. And I just end up peeling the skin off. And I mean, I guess that's what lip balm's for. How did we live before lip balm? Did everyone just constantly have, like, the driest lips? It had to be something that... There's gotta be something out there naturally that can just make our lips, I don't know, not chapped. I don't really believe in lip balm. I don't think it works, to be honest. I mean, it works, but it never feels like it does. I kind of hate lip balm because it always feels like it's not working. It always feels like it's just kind of sitting on my face, not doing anything. It just stays there for like hours on end, and I just want to wipe it off. It just feels like I don't know, ate something and like left juice on my face. That was a weird way to phrase that. Let's run back to humidity. Humidity is kind of funky because I talked about clouds already. Because it's just a bunch of water in the air. And then, it's just like, humidity is just like smaller water. And it just kind of depends on where you are, because it's not like a weather thing. I mean, it can totally be a weather thing with like humidity. It can be like, this episode is gonna be horrible to watch. The sun is flashbanging the camera like 90 times. It's hard to cover up the sun with my freaking head, okay? That's a better view, but then I have to hold my arm higher, and that's just really inconvenient, to be honest. What was I talking about? Humidity. Because it's just kind of an area thing. Like deserts or whatever, for whatever reason, doesn't really make any sense, to be honest. I don't know how climate works. Just the amount of plants, the amount of just where it is, it doesn't make sense. I mean, equator, that part kind of makes sense. But there's also some of like the most humid places on Earth are the hottest. And so just for whatever reason, there's just some places that are just way There's no better way to put this. Wetter than other places. We're pushing about 20 minutes right now. This is actually a pretty good episode. Not that much filler. There's an airplane above me. I don't see where it is. It's over there. I'm not going to point the camera towards it because you're probably not even going to see it. It doesn't even matter that much. Airplanes are totally magic. That does not work at all. Just fucking... you just go fast enough and it just goes up because it's, I don't know, curvy. And it just somehow the air underneath it just kind of puts it up. But if you stop it, it like, obviously it falls if the engine, whatever, because it's just speed. Like birds, insects, whatever. They make sense of how they're getting up because they're flapping. They're pushing the air down to lift themselves up. That makes sense. Airplane, it's just going. It's just, ooh. It could pretty much be a hovercraft at that point. A freaking spaceship. I think that's about all I have to talk about in this video. We're about 22 minutes. That's a good episode. Hey, thank you for watching. I'm gonna see if I can cool end screen. Ka-chow!